At the time I'm recording this video, I have 8,000 subscribers and 1.8 million views. Hide me in 10 years? Dude, if I don't have a million subscribers when you see this video, I better have a million subscribers when you guys see this.
Mr. Beast is the most popular YouTuber on the planet, with more than 650 million subscribers across his channels.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about mechanical manifestation, and there is no better subject matter to study when it comes to mechanical manifestation than Jimmy Donaldson, aka Mr. Beast. While others wish upon a star, Jimmy Donaldson spent 1,000 days building a telescope so he could see the star, and then another 1,000 days building the ladder so that he could reach it. You may have started your manifestation journey by kind of asking, is manifestation scientifically backed? Can this really happen? And depending on how you interpret it, the science says no, thoughts don't change your reality. But science also says at the same time, conviction absolutely does. Conviction changes everything. Most people talk about their dreams in like the hopes and prayers kind of tense. They say, I want, I wish, or maybe one day, or I hope this happens. Jimmy Donaldson, or Mr. Beast as we all know him, well, he spoke to his future self in the imperative tense. He didn't just record a time capsule, he actually issued a subpoena to the universe, kind of demanding what he wants. And when you see these time capsule videos come out, it's kind of just like proof that his manifestation was already in place and that he knew what he was doing. So for Mr. Beast, this isn't just hard work. Thousands of people work hard and stay broke. I'm one of them. This is obsessive alignment. We're going to be dissecting the most quote-unquote scientific manifestation in history, looking at Mr. Beast. And we're also going to be talking about the law of large numbers. We talk about a lot of different laws on this channel in these manifestation videos, and why filming your future is the most dangerous yet effective spiritual act that you can perform, especially if you're trying to manifest extreme goals like Mr. Beast. So in our conversation about Taylor Swift in last week's video, we talked about eternalism, and we also talked about Trisha Paytas and Jojo Siwa in this manifesting series as well, if you're interested in that. And the idea, the past, the present, and the future coexisting, we talked about that in Taylor Swift's video. That's what eternalism is. So Jimmy Donaldson didn't need a physics degree to understand any of this. He kind of understood it intuitively. Also, if you're interested in intuitive readings, I do intuitive readings and spiritual readings on my other channel, The Wizardtism, if you want to check that out. Wizardtism with a T, like wizard and autism mixed together. So by filming those future me videos that Mr. Beast was doing, he was practicing temporal anchoring. Most people's future self is like a vague, blurry kind of just idea of what could be, but Mr. Beast made his future self like a real person. He kind of created a soul contract, if you will. And when you film a video for your future you, like Jimmy has done in these time capsules, you're doing two things. For one, it's a public declaration. Maybe he's not posting it right now, or maybe for the other ones he was. So you're removing any kind of safety net of being anonymous. But also you have that quantum observation, because by defining exactly what success looks like, for him specifically, he was saying 1 million subscribers, he collapsed the wave function. So he stopped looking at all possibilities and focused on the one inevitable outcome that he wanted to happen. So he wasn't looking at his future as anything vague. He was very specific about what he wanted. So his reticular activation system, your RAS, which we've talked about in all of these manifestation videos, it was already like tuned into the frequency of, I'm going to have 1 million subscribers by this period of time. For years, Mr. Beast literally didn't have any life, kind of like a lot of YouTubers. This is me as well, but like, he was very specific about what he wanted and had a very specific group of people, which I would kind of call like a mastermind, where he basically was going on Skype with these other creators, and he would spend like 15 hours a day on Skype, and they would just analyze every frame of every single viral video, trying to like figure out what all of the patterns were. Very tism behavior, if I do say so myself, with a little bit of the tism, but this is what we call collective intentionality. So in biology, there's this phenomenon called entrainment, where independent oscillators like pendulums or heart cells begin to pulse in total synchrony. We kind of need this in order to be alive. And Jimmy and his tribe entrained their brain cells, so to speak, to the YouTube algorithm. Like they just absolutely honed in. I call this channeling personally, because I've been able to learn new skill sets so fast the same way. But they just got hyper specific and channeled in and then learned all of the patterns, is basically the most scientific, mathematical, logical way to break it down. But they weren't just talking shop, they were honestly creating like a neural network dedicated to one goal. And that's what your RAS, your reticular activation system that we keep talking about, that's why it's so important, and that's what it does. So they kind of outsource their manifestation to each other in the most autistic way possible. And when one of them doubted, the other four provided that vibration of certainty. They were absolutely certain of what they were doing. And since they did it in a group, they were able to stay very focused, in my opinion. That's just logical. But here's where the science gets like entangled with it, because most manifestors wait for signs from the universe, but Mr. Beast wasn't looking for signs from the universe. He was looking at his YouTube analytics dashboard, like me. So, for example, this video I know is going to get clicked by 0.001% of my existing audience, but there's also a chance that the Mr. Beast viewers could find this, and anybody interested in manifestation will find this. Judging by my Taylor Swift video, it won't happen, but I'm still making this video anyways because I was passionate about it. Is that how Mr. Beast would operate? No. But that's how I'm operating. I'm very aware of the analytics, but Mr. Beast like trusted those analytics kind of like religion. Like he put blind faith in those analytics. So Jimmy, Mr. Beast, he treated his algorithm like a sentient digital god, you could say, and he was just like trying to decode it, or like a Bible, I guess. While others complained about bad luck, Mr. Beast saw bad data. He realized that the algorithm is just a mirror of human psychology, so to manifest 1 billion views, he didn't have to wish for them. He had to solve this equation, and he just kind of reverse engineered it. And he talks about this in literally every single interview that he's ever in. It's always, always, always about the data. So manifestation isn't a mystery, honestly. Like, it's backed by neurolinguistics, it's backed by psychology. You can try and explain it away with quantum physics. It doesn't completely back it, but I've explained in my previous videos like why they relate and why people do believe that it backs manifestation. But essentially, it's a feedback loop. So if you aren't getting what you want, you aren't reading the data correctly, or you're just ignoring the data. So this is the part where most people get afraid and where most people don't believe. Because for years, every single penny that Mr. Beast made, he still says the same thing, that he carries like a balance of 0 in his bank account. You've probably heard him say this yourself. But he puts all that money back into the next video. So he essentially lives on nothing, allegedly. There's more. It's financially a lot more complicated than that, and it's just the smartest way to invest your money. But in spiritual terms, it's kind of a sacrifice that he's making to give everything back to the business. In psychological terms, it's literally just hyper commitment, which to me means that he has completely aligned with his purpose and what he's trying to manifest, so he no longer sees this as work, it's identity. Same thing that we talked about in the JoJo video and with Trisha Paytas, and it no longer feels like work when you're this aligned. So you could be working like 16-hour days, just like most billionaires, but you're not going to feel like it's work because you're so aligned with your mission. So by spending his last dollar on videos and putting all the money back in, he was kind of telling his subconscious mind, there is no plan B. I'm an actor and a performer. I've been wanting to work in entertainment my entire life, and a lot of people have always said, make sure that you have a successful plan B. But every actual entertainer that I met that is successful was always like, you need to completely get rid of plan B or plan A will never happen. And that's kind of how I see manifestation. If you always have a plan B, plan A is never going to be effective. So when you have like a safety fund, your brain knows that you can afford to fail. When you burn everything, burn all the ships, get rid of every single other different possibility, well, that tactic is used by ancient conquerors. Like that's what we see in the Bible. That's what we see in ancient texts. Your brain enters a state of total cognitive integration. You become a super learner because your survival depends on it. Essentially, you've trained your brain that is the only way you're going to survive. He didn't believe. He was completely convicted all the way back to like middle school. He would be successful. He convicted himself to success. He convicted himself to 1 million followers, which ended up being so much more. But if you look at the block universe again, which we've discussed in all these past videos, the one where Taylor Swift is the architect, Mr. Beast is the developer, developer. He didn't wait for the future to happen. He filmed it 5 years in advance and then worked until the reality completely matched that footage. And then he forgot about it, and then it was released on his channel, and everyone's like, oh my god. But manifestation isn't a miracle, obviously. It's a target. And once Jimmy locked his sights on that target, the rest of the world was just the travel, like time travel. And I feel like that's how so many people look at him, and that's why so many people subscribe anyways. They understand his conviction, and they just allow for it to, they just go along with that conviction. I feel like that's why there's so many successful cult leaders, honestly, as well. They're kind of applying the same things. They're just evil people. So here's my challenge for you, literally a practical challenge. Go record a video of yourself, set it to schedule in 5 years on YouTube, commit to whatever you said in that video, burn the ships, and see where you are in 5 years when it goes public.
Like, people will say anything, but rarely do they ever live up to what they say.
Jimmy Donaldson, or Mr. Beast, is the most successful creator of his time and arguably the most successful creator of all time, strictly because of his conviction to doubt ratio, honestly. He convicted himself that he would be successful, and he left, like, time passage clues along the way that he would find years later, proving that he was convicted the entire time, even when the universe was not showing him any signs or clues or confirmation or evidence. He was like, no, this is going to happen. And it did. Manifestation isn't just a miracle, it's also a very precise target, and Jimmy Donaldson was no stranger to making sure that that target was extremely precise, and he made sure the arrow went right into the red center. He knew, you could say. He always knew.